All right, we did the AFC. Let's do the NFC. Same format as last time. I'm going to talk about the teams that I think can make the playoffs. So if your favorite team isn't in this video, they're either in the AFC or I don't think that they can make the playoffs. Let's start with the division-leading NFC North Packers, who are currently sitting at 5-2-1. Look, the Packers, there's no doubt. I think they are a very good team. I do. I think they're a very good team. However, they have 2 losses on the season, and both those losses look really bad. Their offense struggled in both games. They put up 13 points in both of their losses. And, I mean, it's just a question of consistency. Can the Packers stay consistent throughout the season? That, I don't know. And, they still have 5 of their division opponents left to play. They still haven't played the Vikings, haven't played the Bears, and they played the Lions once, who, yes, they did beat. But, you're going to have to beat these other divisional foes. And with the offensive inconsistencies, I don't know if the Packers can do that on a week-to-week basis. Now, I still think the Packers are going to make the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to hold on to this division lead, just given how inconsistent they've been. And especially now with Tucker Kraft, their number 1 target, going out for the season, I have a hard time thinking this team can maintain that division lead. They're still only, half a game up on the Lions right now? And so, yeah, that lead could very well evaporate very quickly. And the Lions could see themselves in first place as early as next week. So, as a result of that, yeah, I think the Packers are going to drop out, and I don't think they're going to miss the playoffs. I very well could see them as, say, the 6th or the 5th seed, but I don't think they're going to hold on to the division lead. Moving on, we've got the Detroit Lions. The Lions, look, that was a rough loss against the Vikings, but I think that says more about the Vikings than it did about the Lions. The Vikings played that game beautifully. I still think the Lions are a playoff team. I think they're going to win this division. They still have to play all their divisional opponents one more time. They're 1-2 in those games. And although, yes, that does hurt, right now, I think the Lions are still a good team, and you always got to worry about the running game. Their defense can stop people whenever they want, and Jared Goff can air it out if he needs to. And on top of that, they're never going to be punting, so they're going to go for it on every 4th down, for better or for worse. But I do think the Lions should be able to win this division. Moving on, we got the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears, currently not in the playoff spot, sitting at 5-3. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. Their division, I think, is a bit too rough. On top of that, the offense has been pretty inconsistent. The team as a whole has been pretty inconsistent. However, I do think they're just going to miss. And if things go the right way for the rest of the season, I very well could see the Bears sneaking in next year. Right now, just with how difficult that division is, the Vikings right now, maybe they've hit a hot streak with J.J. McCarthy. The Packers and Lions are still in the division. The Packers, who you can't seem to beat until last year, you still got to play them twice. You still got to play the Lions again, who kicked your butt before. You still got to play the Vikings again, who whooped you in 1 quarter. I have a hard time believing this team can truly take the next step and make the playoffs, as of right now. And the Vikings. The Vikings, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I do think, however, they have a better chance than the Bears. And the reason I say that is I just think the Vikings are a better coach team, and I think they have a better roster. And if they can get above average, like slightly above average quarterback play, this team very well could sneak in as the 7th seed. However, as of right now, I don't see that happening, just given the fact that we've seen too little of J.J. McCarthy to truly tell if he is the guy for the Vikings or not. Moving on to the NFC South, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You got wide receiver injuries, but I think you should still win your division. And I could see you, honestly, making the 1 seed if things continue to go your way. Now, I don't think that'll happen. I think you have a few too many injuries to truly finish as the 1 seed. And as a result, I'm going to put you as the 3 seed. But Baker Mayfield, he is willing this team to victory basically by himself right now. I mean, it's just him and Emeka Egbuka, who's been banged up for a little bit now. Bucky Irving still hasn't practiced. Chris Godwin still hasn't practiced. Mike Evans is going to be out for a while. And yeah, I mean, it sucks to see all the injuries, especially on the offensive side of the ball. But I do think that this is a team that is to be feared. And Baker Mayfield, if he can go back to playing the way he did just a few weeks ago, this team is going to be scary. Moving on, we've got the Carolina Panthers, who are currently sitting at 5-4. Look, I've said before, I don't think the Panthers are going to make the playoffs. I just don't. I mean, unless Bryce Young plays really well, I don't think that they can make the playoffs. However, I do think that they could finish with, say, 9 wins. They have a pretty favorable schedule for the rest of the way. I mean, they play the Saints this week. They still have to play the Falcons again. I believe they play the Buccaneers twice, if I'm not mistaken. And so, yeah, if they could win even one, maybe both of those Buccaneer games, I mean, that's 8 wins right there. You just got to find one more, and then you'll be at 9. So, yeah, I could see this team maybe, barely sneaking in. But as of right now, I don't see it. I'm going to have to see more from Bryce Young before I really believe in them. And, yeah, that's how I feel about the Buccaneers. Moving on, let's talk about the NFC East. Right now, you have the Philadelphia Eagles sitting at 6-2 as the number 1 seed. And, look, the Eagles right now, they look to be one of the best teams in the league once again. They look to make a repeat run. 6-2, best record in the NFC, tied for anyways. And they just made a trade for Jalen Phillips, who I think is a very good pass rusher. He's just been dealing with injuries these past few years. However, if he can be unlocked in that Philly defense and he can provide that pass rushing threat that the Eagles haven't really had all season, the Eagles are going to be a very, very hard out in the playoffs. And as a result, I think they're getting the 2 seed. I don't think they'll quite hang on to the 1 seed because, they still have a few rough stretch of games. They have the Packers this week. And we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But one good thing that they do have for them is that they have beaten another NFC contender in the LA Rams. But they still have to play the Lions. We will see how that game goes. But that's one good thing that the Eagles do have on them. I don't think I really need to talk about any other NFC East teams. I guess I'll talk about the Cowboys since they did just make a trade for Quinnen Williams. So they're kind of also going in, all in. The Cowboys right now, they're sitting at 3-5-1. They just made a trade for Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson, who I do think will help the defense. I don't know if it'll propel them to the level they want to be at, though. Also, I guess, while I'm on the topic of the Cowboys, RIP to Marshawn Nealon. That absolutely sucks. It really sucks to see. Obviously, I've talked about my mental health struggles a few times on this channel, but yeah, that always sucks, man. So I send my condolences out to, his girlfriend, his family, and the Cowboys as a whole. It's the worst. Anyways, back to football. The Cowboys, I don't think, are going to make the playoffs. I think that they dug themselves too deep of a hole, and I don't think it's going to happen. But maybe with the addition of Quinnen Williams, he can help shore up the run defense. Maybe Logan Wilson can do anything for that linebacking core because they desperately needed it. And if the offense can keep going, obviously didn't look so hot against Arizona, but you have a bye week this week. Maybe you can come back after the bye. The offense will get back to clicking the way it was. And the defense will be decent once again. Now, NFC West. Let's start with the third place San Francisco 49ers, who right now are sitting at the number 6 seed. The Niners right now, I want to believe in them. I do. But the problem is that they don't have the easiest schedule ahead of them. They still have to play the Seahawks twice. They play the Rams this week. And they still have to play the Colts. The rest of their games I do feel are winnable. The main problem for the 49ers are all the injuries that keep piling up. However, they keep finding ways to push through them. They keep finding ways to win football games, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Now, although I don't think that this team is going to win their division, just given the intense competition they have there, I do think that this team should still be able to make the playoffs, but it's not going to be an easy road. I think at best you're going to finish 11-6. I think that's probably your best case scenario, and I don't think that's going to be enough to win this division. Moving on, we've got the LA Rams. The Rams, I put them at number 1 in my power rankings, and I did that for a reason. Matt Stafford, he is playing like an absolute MVP candidate, and he looks unstoppable right now. Devontae Adams has been a huge red zone threat for the Rams, even with Puka being on and off the injury report. Sounds like he should play this week. Who knows? And Puka Nacua, when he has played, has been absolutely elite. And so I do think that the Rams can fight back and reclaim first place in this division from the Seattle Seahawks. Just as a result, very good at rushing the passer. They have a good pass defense. I mean, this is the definition of a complete team. The one thing I worry about is their special teams. Their special teams scares me, both with their kicking game and their everything. Everything about the special teams scares me to bits for the Rams. But if there's any coach I trust to be able to fix it, it'd be Sean McVay. Now, the last team I'm going to talk about are the Seattle Seahawks. Look, question for the Seahawks coming into the season was, is Sam Darnold truly the guy, or was he just a one-year wonder like, I don't know, Case Keenum? Remember that one random season when Case Keenum took the Vikings to the NFC Championship? That was a year. But yeah, we all wondered, is Sam Darnold the guy, or was he a one-year wonder? I think he's answered that question. He has been sensational this year. The Seahawks just added Rashid Shaheed, which I have talked about. I love that move for the Seahawks. The Seahawks, they love to throw it deep. Darnold is one of the best deep throwers in football right now. And Rashid Shaheed is that kind of guy where he'll go 30 yards down the field and you chuck it up to him and he'll be able to make a play. So yeah, I love that move for the Seahawks. But I do think the Rams are, as of right now, the better team in this division. And I say that because of experience. The Rams have been there. They've done that. They even won a Super Bowl a few years ago. And the Seahawks really haven't had that same sort of success. It's not under this regime anyways. I mean, Mike McDonald hasn't made the playoffs before. Sam Darnold has only made the playoffs once, and he hasn't done it with this group. Jackson Smith and Jigba. This is a very young team, and not many of them have really seen what the playoffs hold, or even what an end-of-season stretch being a contender is like. So yeah, as a result, I do think that they are going to slip down in this division, and that is a darn shame, but unfortunately, only one team can win this division, and I do think it's going to be the LA Rams. But those are my thoughts. We'll see. I think the Rams right now are going to get the number one seed in the NFC, but that is neither here nor there. We will see what happens. Still half a season to go. And this is a week-to-week league, so anything can change.